Hello and welcome back. So let us now go ahead and look at lesson 1 in module 1. And some of the things that we're going to cover in this lesson include introduction to maintenance. We're going to be looking at introduction to SAP S for HANA, navigation using Fiori apps, and then looking at SAP Activate and best practices. In this section, that is introduction to maintenance, we shall be looking at preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, breakdown, and refurbishment. So what is preventive maintenance? So preventive maintenance can be defined as planned or unplanned activities that you carry out to maintain reliability and availability of your assets. And generally, preventive maintenance is carried out to delay or eliminate failure altogether. And some of the activities that you carry out to delay or eliminate failure and that are referenced in SAP S for HANA Asset Management include preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, emergency maintenance, refurbishment, and project-related maintenance. And we cover all of these in later chapters, but I'll spend a few minutes doing a quick drill down on each of them. So what is preventive maintenance? Preventive maintenance refers to the activities that are scheduled mostly on time-based intervals to assess the condition of the asset. And there are two types of preventive maintenance. The first one is condition-based, where you're focusing on monitoring the change of state of a monitored parameter. Say, for example, you have a gearbox and you need to know the condition of the oil. So the oil color could be that monitored parameter. So when the oil turns dark, then it may trigger a signal to you that it's time to change it. So in that case, you're changing it based on the color, regardless of the run hours. So the other type of PM is performance-based. And in this case, you're focusing on the parameter that is monitored over time. So there's a time element here. You could be looking at the run hours or also looking at something like car mileage. So an example, again, giving an example of a car is where the oil is changed at 5,000 miles, regardless of the condition. So moving on to corrective maintenance. So we define corrective maintenance as maintenance that you carry out to return the asset to its functional state. And here, functional state is a key. So corrective maintenance is triggered by functional failure of the asset. And if I spend a few seconds defining what is functional failure, this is a condition where the asset is not able to deliver the desired performance. Let's say, for example, you have a car that is supposed to drive at 160 miles an hour, and over time you find that you can no longer get to 160, you are stuck at 140. So in that case, you have a functional failure. And one of the corrective actions that you could take, depending on what the cause is, could be probably you have tires that need to be inflated. So you have inflate the tires as the corrective action or corrective maintenance. So emergency maintenance in maintenance circles is known as firefighting, and this is maintenance you want to avoid at all costs. It needs to be carried out right away, and it means that you have to deploy all the reasonable resources to take care of it. It's usually expensive and should be avoided at all costs. And some of the available literature points to it being about 3 times more expensive than regular maintenance costs. So some of the reasons or the causes for these high costs are things like downtime impact on production. There's also inefficient use of labor, where you're getting labor that is unplanned to take care of the event. And then there could also be costs related to the asset damage. Refurbishment, on the other hand, is process of servicing defective parts, and the intention is to bring them back to working condition. Refurbishment is usually, in most cases, can be carried out internally, but sometimes depending on the skills that you have and resources that you have internally, you can outsource that to external vendors. Once parts are refurbished, you get them back to inventory for future reuse. And some applications for refurbishment is where you're dealing with parts that are no longer commercially available. So you'd rather repair them and have them ready for reuse. Or in other cases where it's probably cheaper to overhaul or to refurbish. And I'm going to give an example. Let's say, for example, you might decide to rewind your motor, a 300 horsepower motor, to have it rewound instead of buying a new one. So those are some of the scenarios where you would be doing refurbishment. So we have plenty of resources to learn more about maintenance, and we have provided links. And then if you go to bridgesicloud.com, we have quite a lot of content there, including hands-on exercises that will get you more conversant with maintenance processes and some of the aspects of SAP that you need to learn. So thank you so much for your time, and please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel to get notified of upcoming videos, and also visit bridgesicloud.com for additional content and hands-on training. Thank you, and see you in the next video.